very often from actors is that when they'll come and meet us like fresh off the boat, they've never done anything before. They've just about done a 3-month program of acting, and they'll come and they'll be like, actually I'm only looking for leads. Now I'm laughing on it, but it's one thing that I would tell actors to never say.
Sort of the notion that your value is attached to your age. Is that true?
Be proud of your age, man. Don't try to hide it. I always get this, my age is 28, but my screen age is 22. I'm like, buddy, that time is gone. Just tell me how old you are.
When Panchami Ghavri decides to cast all the entertainment YouTubers in films.
We're constantly looking for talent, and we don't care where people have come from. I don't care if they're from another city, from another country, as far as they can speak the language and they're enthusiastic and they are interested in acting.
Now, when you're growing up as a kid in Mumbai, you often don't realize the impact that the Hindi film industry has on the rest of India. You realize the impact when you travel in the rest of India and you're kind of asked so many questions about the world of cinema or the world of Bollywood. What's it actually like? This conversation caters to that crowd and those questions. Panchami Ghavri is one of the most successful young entrepreneurs within the Indian film industry today. Panchami Ghavri Casting is one of the most influential units when it comes to actually giving young actors opportunities to showcase their talent. So if you're a young actor, if you want to make it big in this industry, or if you're just a Bollywood fan and you want to know about the industry from an insider, Panchami Ghavri is that person. But also keep in mind, she has one of the sharpest minds. She is one of the most influential upcoming Bollywood entrepreneurs, and there's a lot more you can learn from her. So whether or not you were watching this episode for the sake of the film industry, I think you're going to gain a lot of value from this lady. This is Panchami Ghavri giving us one of the most fun episodes of the Ranveer show. Let's get into it. Enough of this intro. This is a fun TRS episode. Enjoy yourselves. Panchami Ghavri, welcome to the Ranveer show. Why are you laughing?
Thank you.
What's funny?
I'm just happy to be here, I guess.
Okay.
Your energy is like funny to me.
Yeah, I mean, so I've been told that I need to make these conversations funnier, more chill. But again, there's a business leader somewhere inside me. And I do want to learn about your world from a leadership perspective. I've noticed the world of films and media in general now for the last 5 to 6 years. I feel like some people who have gained a lot of clout, and clout always attracts attention and noise, and you are one of those people.
I hope in a good way.
It's in a good way.
Good.
Why would it be in a bad way? What's the bad
No, I just
version?
mean that because media attention can be all sorts of. So if it's in a way that's speaking about my work or the kind of person I am or the things that I like to do, if people connect with that, that's cool.
How would you say you're traveling abroad somewhere, okay?
Yeah.
And you meet some random foreigners and they ask you what you do. How would you introduce yourself?
I say that I'm my name, obviously, I'm Panchami Ghavri, and I work as a casting director in India. And basically then I have to back it up and say basically I work at the movies.
What does a casting director do?
So casting director basically puts together every speaking person that you see in a movie that you're watching. I think a lot of people don't think about how it's done. It's also a job that I think now has come more on the forefront than it was earlier. Because I think casting directors weren't always a thing. It's still like I would say compared to other departments, it's still like a newer sort of department. But we basically, every person that speaks in a film is casted, including that goes from your main lead cast to like every other person. Even a watchman that comes and says, "Do male pe." That's also casted.
And in a country where so many people want to be part of film, so many people want to be actors, that puts you at the top of the status pile in some cases because you're the lady responsible for giving people their dreams.
I don't really think of myself like that, honestly, but I have always thought about the fact that I can give a lot of opportunity to people, and that definitely excites me. Yeah, of course, I think in a country of 1.3 billion people, in India at least, a lot of people are very fascinated by acting. So, of course, there's a very large pool of people that we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis.
People would assume that a casting director would be 50 years old, 40 years old. You're really like young. So how did you get to a position of influence like so fast?
Because I started my career very early. I started assisting on a film called Up Sid with Ayan Mukherjee. I was assisting Nandini Shrikant, who's also a casting director, obviously. So she was my mentor. So I learned everything pretty much from her.
So you're a Bombay girl.
I'm a Bombay girl.
Okay, and Bombay has this energy of constantly making its people want to do more shit in life.
Might be true.
So what is your version of more shit in life? Like, what would you want to do beyond this?
I think beyond this, I think all the people around me to definitely know the answer to this question because I'm so loud and excited about it. But it would probably be something to do with food and travel.
Wow, like
Yeah.
from casting direction to this.
I would love to do that. I want to put my feet into it probably. I also like the atmosphere that I've built in the space and my team that I work with. So that's not going anywhere. But there are plans to do more, obviously.
Mhm.
And now this makes me sound a little bit like, are Bombay people like that? Is that true?
Yeah, like on every level. Like you speak to a cabbie, even he's like that. You speak to Karan Johar, even he's like that. Like everyone is thinking about what next.
Yeah.
Karan Johar circles are thinking about tech startups for some reason now. I think everyone just figured tech startups have money. And the cabbies are thinking about scaling business because of Shark Tank India. So I think as we were talking about outside, Bombay is like a very collaborative,
Yeah.
all action city.
But I kind of like that. I love that beat of Bombay. I don't know if it's overwhelming for some people, but I love that. The fact that you don't have to wear only one hat. You can do more than just one thing. And I love that Bombay doesn't have a judgment about that. It's like different people are doing multiple different things. And everyone's kind of supportive about it. And I like that.
You know, I think there's a lot of negatives to living in Bombay, like small spaces, traffic,
Yeah.
sometimes too much pace where you can't
Yeah.
even switch off on weekends.
Yeah.
But if someone asks me what the highlight is of staying in Bombay, the positives, I always say that conversations with artists and conversations with people from the media world are just very nice. They'll stay with you for the rest of your life. Even if you end up going to Goa later, you'll look back at your time in Bombay and say, okay, that's where I grew as an artist or a media professional.
Yeah.
So for me, this conversation is one of those.
Okay.
That, you're
Yeah.
also a media professional.
Me
and
too.
there's a lot media professionals can like gain from each other. Be
I
it,
think
like,
after this conversation, I'm going to be like charged up for it. Like, yeah,
I'm already
let's do
feeling
it.
charged, Panchami. I'm already feeling very charged.
Like, let's do it. Let's kill it.
That's the vibe you're feeling.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. I love to. I mean, I feel like these kind of conversations, they inspire you because you're doing something so different from what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go back and be like, wow, that's cool, man.
No, I like that you use the word inspiration. That's what even I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you have too much of like a hustler energy. Like, that's what I want to tell you outside. Like, there's too much all action shit going, which I respect a lot. And you're also chill. You're not like sad about it. So
No, I love
usually,
it.
like, dude, like a lot of people, including myself, sometimes get sad with that all action stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What's the world of films like? Like, you don't come from a filmy background.
Actually, that would be a lie. I do have some. My mom's side of the family has had a lot of influence from with film.
Okay.
If you'll be at like a family dinner, if you were ever a fly on the wall or you were at one of my family dinners, you would see that we do talk about movies a lot because a lot of my cousins are also a part of the industry. So
Like who?
like Ayan is my first cousin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then there's also Sunita Di and Ashuda, which are AGPPL, which is who made Lagan and Swades and all of those films. So this is like my core world. Like this is where around the people which I grew up. So there is a lot of film talk. I would be lying if I said no. So it was, I guess, very, it was just normal for me to also fall into this world. But films are, I mean, they've pretty much been like my whole life. Grown up watching movies, still watching movies, working at the movies. I like that I'm able to translate that into other people's lives. I think that makes me really happy.
I love Ayan Mukherjee. Like
Yeah,
as a
me
guy.
too.
I didn't know he's your first cousin, but
Yeah.
we got in touch through Instagram. I don't know how. I
Yeah.
asked him how he came across my stuff on Insta, and he said, I don't know. He asked me how I discovered that he's following me, and my answer to that is once I was seeing my stories, my own stories on Insta, and I saw Ayan Mukherjee seeing my stories.
Yeah.
So I just DM'd him saying, why are you following me, man?
He's amazing. He's like the favorite child of our family. His energy is like, everyone's very protective about Ayan.
Yeah, I see why. Like, he's like sort of a very blessed, talented, creative professional on one end,
Yeah.
with the enthusiasm of a kid on
Yeah,
the other, and he's
that's
got that
true.
masala going on.
Yeah, it's
Like,
true.
but also, I mean, see, I always had respect for him as a director, and that's the only kind of exposure I had to him, that this guy makes good films.
Yeah.
But once you get to know him, you get to see his office and where he sits and how he thinks about his
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
The 10 years he's given for Brahmastra,
Yeah.
things that you realize the kind of stuff that's going on in this guy's head.
Yeah, and
That's
the
when you really
commitment
fall in
you
love.
need. Yeah, and the commitment that you need to
Mm.
you know put all your energies into something.
Could you like draw out what you look for as a casting director?
So to be honest, there is no right answer for this because it really depends on what we are casting for. Every time the requirement is different. But I would say a few things that are really important, or if I had to put down bullet points, it would be, and more than I'll not get into like looks and stuff, or even like you said, dancing and stuff, because I feel like all of those things are definitely secondary to what is most important. Most important thing is that firstly you have a good work ethic. Now that is, I think, universal. It's not only in casting, or if you want to become an actor, you need to have a good work ethic.
You look out for that?
Of course I do. I
Like-
want actors to come prepared. I
Okay.
want them to be on time. I want them to put in some effort into looking a certain way, follow the brief that you've been given, learn the scene and come. Don't only learn your lines. You know, like these things, and this comes under an ethic of work, right? If you've chosen a certain department or you've chosen a certain career, you have to then give respect to what you've chosen. And all these things are really important, and maybe more so over important than being some amazing dancer. I think in today's time, we are focusing way more on how well you've done something, like how well you've done a test, how well you've prepped for a test, how well you've given a test over any dancing or any of that. And like, to be honest, right now we're in a time where even looks, of course, you have a slight upside if you're like a pretty person, if you're like a nice looking guy or you're a pretty girl. But I think that will definitely not take you all the way. You have to be a combination of both. And there is very well space for people that may not have the best looks or aren't conventionally good looking, but you're a solid actor and you're very hardworking. There is a place for you. Very often from actors is that when they'll come and meet us, like fresh off the board, they've never done anything before. They've just about done a 3-month program of acting, and they'll come and they'll be like, you know, actually, I'm only looking for leads. Which is like, now I'm laughing on it, but it's one thing that I would tell actors to never say. Because you want to look for good work. You want to look for, to work hard. You want to work with good directors. But you don't want to look for leads. Also, you're a person sitting in an office space that nobody knows about. So till you don't prove yourself, why will someone give you a lead?
Let's dial back a little bit, okay? So let's take someone self-made like Vicky Kaushal, and let's take a female actor who's self-made. I don't know, name someone. Like, by self-made, I mean completely from outside the industry.
There's so many.
Someone who's upcoming, who's Mrunal.
Yeah,
okay?
Mrunal.
If someone wants to reach where Vicky Kaushal and Mrunal Thakur have reached right now, before they come to a casting director, you said that you want them to be a trained actor. So I'm assuming
course.
acting workshops, acting courses.
Yes.
What else is the prep?
I would definitely, more than like dancing and horse riding and martial arts and all, to be very honest, I would say definitely be trained. Go and get yourself a course. You don't have to go to someone who's extremely expensive. You can even do like a theater workshop. You can work as an actor backstage in theater. Also, I won't completely say that it's only way to do is to learn via a course. To be very honest, the auditioning process is very much a learning experience also. So any actor who's new and they don't or can't go to a program where they do a 3-month stint or a 1-year stint, they can actively start going for auditions. Like, go for as many auditions. It doesn't matter if you want to take on the part. It doesn't matter if it's small or it's big. You have to start that process. Like, start with doing a lot of auditions and you learn a lot from that. If you ask Mrunal and probably even Vicky Kaushal, who have both tested like crazy. Like Mrunal, I know I did a live with her during the lockdown, and she said that she learned acting through auditions because that's how many auditions she was like in and out giving auditions. But even Vicky, I know that he's been through a process of auditioning. He's done the drill. So I think that's really important. You can't just walk into a place and be like, actually, there are 2-3 girls are there in the film and all. I know I don't want to be one amongst the 3. I'll get stuff. Like today, I think the younger generation has become a little bit smarter. They come more prepared. Gen Z, I got to give it to the Gen Z because they are coming more prepped for auditions. We have seen a shift where we're seeing better auditions. The percent of auditions that are good is more than what it used to be, like even 5 or 6 years ago. So I know that the younger generation is prepping and coming for auditions, which is amazing. That is good energy.
Very straight up question to you. Why didn't you get into films? I feel like, the way you look and all, you could have gotten. No, but for real. And also with the know-how.
So I did do some theatre. So I'll tell you, I went to Lee Strasberg to study. So that's where I got which has helped me a lot of the information that I have of how you should be in front of the camera, because I was doing a lot of in front, or I had teachers who were teaching me, and I was a student of acting. I also think that it's very tough, yeah.
Yeah, I want to know this part. Like if someone actually comes and says, oh, be in my mainstream film as a lead
No,
hero.
I wouldn't do it.
Why?
Because I feel like, to be honest, I don't think I'm cut out for an actor's life. I think the part that that is fun is the part of doing scenes and scene work and stuff that we do in the office. But the real deal is completely different from an audition room. It's a lot more. I think that actors are not given enough credit for the hard work they put in. The amount of days that it takes, day in and day out, sometimes away from your friends and your family for months together, staying in hotel rooms on your own. I think there's a lot that people don't see that's beyond the glamour of the industry.
So when I was about 24-ish, YouTube had taken off and everything. And there was both acting opportunities and business opportunities. And I was a kid, so I didn't even know what I wanted. I was dating someone at the time who said that, listen, my parents won't agree for me to date you if you become an actor. Okay, and I said, okay, I guess I'll do business then. So that's how business started in my life.
Okay.
And I love it because that was what was natural to me. Like I love doing what I do.
Sure.
Now at this stage, I've met a lot of actors. I have a lot of actor friends. And every time I look at their life, I'm like, I wouldn't be able to do that.
No, even I feel like that.
There's too much scrutiny. Like
that too. I never even reached the media part. That also.
I feel like I've been for screenings and I've seen that even, the lead actors at that screening are always kind of a little uptight about the fact that everyone's eyes are on them.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to enter a room like that. Like
that energy.
Yeah, I love attention. Okay, like I love the attention we get as YouTubers.
Yeah.
But that's how much I want. Like I want to be able to go on the road.
Yeah.
Buy fruits.
Same.
All that
or
shit.
Go out for a nice meal in the city without like people just staring down your throat. Yeah. I think it's what people see, the glamour part is very different from the reality. And I do know that for that reason, actors sometimes prefer to go between each other's homes. But I feel like I'm such an outdoorsy person that I would find that really
outdoorsy.
Tough.
Exactly.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, I want to be on the move. I want to have a normal life. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to go wherever I want, eat good food and not have all of that attention. Sometimes it's tough, right? Because you can't switch off from the attention, especially if you're like a big actor in India. So that's why a lot of them travel, because that's where they get their time off.
No, fair. So I'm going to give you a bit of a reality check from the YouTube perspective.
Okay.
And by reality check, it's not about you. I'm just giving you like YouTube perspective here, okay? In the long term, in my own career, I figured the power of two entities in India. One's cricket and the other one's movies.
Yeah.
Okay, like these two things are extremely dominant, primarily because the industries are very old. Okay, even movies have been around for like more than 100 years now.
Yeah.
Cricket has been around for as long as that, roughly. So these industries have gotten time to build themselves. YouTube's like this very powerful revolution, and I'm specifically talking about YouTube, not even social media, not Instagram. Okay, but YouTube's been around for like about 10 years and it's built its own kind of ecosystem of YouTubers as well as people who are like very into the YouTubing culture in India.
Okay.
And that I've noticed that the young viewers on YouTube India, a lot of them are turning against the world of movies. And they're assuming that because of their own echo chamber, where they are surrounded by other people who like their comments and all, they really look down upon the world of movies and Bollywood in specific. And by look down upon, I mean everything from, oh, is dunya mein to drugs hai, sex hai, cheating hai, all that, to, oh, now wait and watch how YouTubers will like dominate this.
Is that happening? Is this real?
Yeah.
I didn't even know, but that's informative.
Exactly. Which is why I said that I want to give you that side of it.
Yeah, great.
I have two questions. One, how do you see like the digital ecosystem, all these content creators? One, that's the first question. Secondly, all that negative chatter about drugs and sex and all that, do you have anything to say about it? Are these just stories cooked up by people who kind of want to see this industry fall.
So influencer world, I actually think is at some point going to come crashing down.
Okay.
I feel.
No, I want to hear this.
I feel like that because I feel like right now it's such a beat. Like everyone is like doing a lot of marketing and like influencers, people are getting paid like crazy amount of money. But I have a feeling that, and I've really been hearing about the kind of monies that people are earning.
No, that's insane.
It's insane. This is not, it's not normal.
It is more than...
And apparently people are paying it also.
Yeah, it is more than most of Bollywood, but not more than the top 10 to 20% of Bollywood.
Yeah, but also so much higher than the average income that the remaining people in India are making. Leaving aside people in entertainment, which it's not fearful, but it's also like it is making the rich richer and the poor poorer, right?
Yeah.
Like in the larger aspect of things, which is a little bit scary, to be honest, because we're also a very small percent that's paying tax. So then it's, and then we don't honestly get too much out of the taxes that we pay. So I feel like at some point it will definitely come down. Like the reality will hit at some point. I'm not saying it'll completely go away, but I think the kind of price points that people are at, that will crash at some point. I feel like that.
I'll tell you as a early content
Maybe I'm
creator,
wrong. I have no idea.
We've just seen money go up, okay, heavily. Every year, the money is just more than it was the previous year. And it's sometimes we see how much money is coming in and it's shocking for us.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm not just talking about like what we make. I'm talking about what 19-year-olds that we work with make. I'm like, dude, it took me 4 years, 5 years of hustle to reach where you've reached in 3 months. So it's a little, anyway, that's a whole other...
overwhelming. I mean, I'm happy for them. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But I also wonder where it's going to take.
So the way I look at it, I think that the YouTube ecosystem is going to grow. YouTube watchers are going to grow. Someone who makes video content for a living takes a lot of integrity to build and sustain a brand.
I know that, how difficult it is to like, and actually it's not like there are many people in India that have that kind of YouTube following. There's only a few people that are really doing it well. You're one of them.
I feel thank you. I feel integrity is one of those things that can transfer itself to other professions.
Yeah.
I would like to ask you that, do you see some of my colleagues and think to yourself, okay, I would cast this person in a film?
I'm always watching. You have no idea.
Okay.
I'm always watching. So whether I'm like at a restaurant or I'm just always seeing faces. You should see how I am when I'm traveling, because sometimes I'm in an atmosphere like a restaurant when I'm traveling or whenever I'm like, I want to cast this restaurant. Like I want everyone in this restaurant to be put into another situation, and I'll always be crossing faces and be like, what an interesting face. I'm very observant of features, looks, and that won't only be like, it has nothing to do with like pretty, conventional or not. Like I'm very aware of like people that have an interesting body language, a vibe, have really nice eyes. I'm always looking. Okay. So I'm always going into
feeling
spaces.
very X-rayed right now, Panchami Ghavri. Shit, dude. Like, have you developed this because of your job?
Yeah.
My question to you was just observation.
Yeah.
Like, what have you observed about me as a person till this point?
I've observed that you are very easygoing. You're definitely someone who makes friends easily. I can imagine. You also seem like someone who's open-minded, not very judgmental of people's opinions. And yeah.
Okay. Can you see the trauma? Can you spot all the sadness, the loneliness, the up shit that happens in my own room?
No, actually, because you may be a decent actor.
That's true, dude. I think as a kid, I was that harami kid who was very good at lying. Like I was so good at lying that my mom just figured it after a point, and so I used to get into a lot of trouble. And basically my mom told me, listen, man, I'm sick of coming to your school to sort out your shit. So the next time you get into trouble, look at the teacher, smile and say, I'm sorry, ma'am, I'll never do it again.
Oh, what a hack. That's an amazing hack, auntie, wherever you are. That's a good one. That's a good one.
My mom uptuned the
Actually, I can imagine you as a kid saying it. I don't think any teacher would have been able to be upset for much longer.
Yeah, I was like this really chubby kid with the same face and the same chilled vibe. And then I turned it into a career because I love the attention.
Whatever you've gotten this far, so it's obviously worked out.
Coming back to your world, you have to answer the second dark question, Panchami Ghavri.
Question. I think that honestly, there was a lot of noise in the lockdown about the industry and how bad it is and all. Honestly, I feel like people were talking a lot of shit. I feel like because it's just an industry which is like a bit aspirational, it feels like you can't get close to it, you can't touch it. people speak a lot of stuff that is not true, really. Is there, honestly, also, I would say it's silly to like only put it with the industry. I think it's if there is any of the drugs and sex and infidelity, it's pretty much happening everywhere.
Yeah.
It's definitely not only centered to the industry, or it's this industry which is bad. Honestly, I have friends around me, I have people, my whole life around me, people are going through different experiences, and it's happening everywhere.
Is there sexism in this industry?
To be honest, I've not experienced too much of it myself. I've always been given opportunities. I'm a woman. I've been working in the industry for a long time. I've not experienced too much of it, to be honest. I think that I'm also very blessed. I'm working with a younger generation of people who are. I have surrounded my life with very progressive directors, producers. I've never had too many experiences. Of course, when I was younger, there is a little bit of that opportunity wise. It's also for a long time. I mean, there are a lot more people in the. There are a lot more people. I mean, I think there's a good balance. Actually, I want to say in casting, I have to give it. There's a wonderful balance of men and women. It's not a very only a male-dominated occupation. I've not used that word in really long.
you know how a lot of women, and I'm from a family of gynecologists, so it's sort of a weird paradox that I'm saying this.
Okay.
Like everyone's a gynac. Okay, my granddad's a gynac, my dad's a gynac, and they've all become IVF specialists now.
Okay,
that's the next sort of specialization.
Okay.
Anyway, my point is how women would feel more comfortable going to a female gynac. I would assume that a lot of women would be more comfortable coming to Panchami Ghavri.
I hope so, and I'm happy to make that. I'm happy to be a safe space for men, women, everyone.
The gynac of casting.
I'm the gynac of casting. No, I love it. I love that we have a space where people feel comfortable. I always get compliments on my team because we are a very, very inclusive space. We don't have any hierarchy. There is no boss and assistant and associate and extra associate. We don't have all of that stuff. Everyone is working together. So it's a very inclusive space. And I'm very proud of that.
What would you say to people, especially from outside of Bombay? And honestly, actually, I'm from Bombay. I'm near your industry and even I don't know the truth.
Okay.
What I have figured is that definitely the fashion industry has this sort of powerful people will do some wrong things. And I might be generalizing it, but this is what I've heard and seen. Especially in like the whole, model circuit and all, there is sort of like this dark element there. I don't see as much in the film circuit. But is there any truth to this whole casting couch angle that was big, like say 10 years ago, 15 years ago?
I think it was very real for sure.
Was.
I hope so, man. I hope so.
Okay.
But I think it was very real. I definitely think it was happening. People in power were taking advantage of actors thought that they are the way for them to get a job or become an established actor. And there may have been people that took advantage of it in the process. I don't know anyone specific to say, but I would say that I feel like it was real at some point for sure. I think this whole Me Too campaign has also been good in a way because it's made people, the ones that must have been doing it, it's made them more wary that it may come out, and that fear has done good things. So I'm happy that the whole movement happened because it does. Actors are in very vulnerable situations. They've been trying. Rejection is such a big part of an actor's life. So sometimes it feels like to stay quiet about it, or if such a situation happens to you, you will just take it. Something will come out of it. It's very sad that they are so vulnerable that such a situation can be taken advantage of, especially in a casting space where you are doing a scene. You're trusting the person that you're doing the scene with, the space that you're in. I'm sure that it must have been real, and I feel bad and sad for all the actors that had to go through that. It's not supposed to be like that. A casting space is supposed to be a safe space. So I think that it was real. I hope it's not happening anymore. We definitely make our space very, very safe. Also, I'm a woman. Maybe that helps. Yeah. I'm glad if it does make actors feel comfortable to come in and do scenes with me, my team. But I do have men in my team naturally. So I think it really just depends on the people that you are. I mean, I know how me and my team work. We are a very, very safe space. Actors will always say good things about coming in and testing with us.
A company is always a manifestation of the founder.
Yeah.
I would actually
Trickles
take that
from the
again.
top,
Yeah,
always.
it's a manifestation of the founder's energy. So and I mean, I can speak for you. Like
Yeah.
I sense who you are.
Yeah.
So I would definitely kind of. I mean, I'm not going to agree or disagree, but you know, I would back that.
Yeah,
that
for sure.
I sense who you are as a person.
And we have to, I mean, to be honest, we have to shift that. That's why even when the campaign happened, and I had been hearing that actors have been through it, I was like, I hope they come and talk about it, because it is important that when they come to audition, and I have seen how sometimes, you know, when you want to really get at the top as an actor, it can be, you can have a moment where you're feeling desperate. You need to get that opportunity. You know you deserve it. And bad things can happen in the process. And sometimes you step on that or cover that. But I don't think that that's right, obviously. We should speak about it more. And we should make it safe for them.
Yeah, the assumption is that men are responsible for these things. And I'm sure, I mean, there's enough. What was that scandal that happened?
Oh, I'm
15
sure
years
there's
ago?
two sides of the story always. But I do also think that there's no smoke without fire.
Yeah, for
sometimes. Sure. If you're like, if someone has experienced it, I mean, I would say it takes next level. Like, it's not right at all to take something so sensitive and lie about it. So all the people that are lying about it should not do that, because it is very, very sacred to people that have experienced it. So I think that, but the ones that have been through it, I mean, I obviously feel something about that, and it should not happen. And we all have to collectively work in our own capacity to make spaces comfortable and safe for people. Yeah,
you're doing it right now, like as in, I mean,
by putting it out there. Yeah, I hope, and I want to manifest that not only for my space but for all spaces.
Yeah. Who are the stars who you gave sort of the early opportunities to? You know why I'm asking you this, right? To ask you the blueprint in terms of, you gave the blueprint on what you do being casted. So
there's Gehraiyaan, of course, which was Gehraiyaan. When Gehraiyaan came to me, Gehraiyaan was not casted. So we jumped in and we tested like pretty much the whole of Bombay and more. And then it was a very curated process of a bunch of people shortlisted, and then Gehraiyaan came about. But he was not a part of this. I mean, he was a part of this world in the sense he was acting. He did a small part in Uri and then he did 83. But this was his first like full-fledged part. So I think it's a lot of, and I'm still in that process. Even Prajakta Kohli was very big in the social media content creation world, but had never done anything in acting before. So Mismatch, the whole cast is put together by me. When the show came to me, there was nobody on the show. I would like to say that a lot of people in and around me have got opportunities and they are happy with it. I see them flourishing and that makes me happy. I've not made no Deepika Padukone. She's made herself.
I'm not made no Deepika Padukone.
Because she's worked really hard and she's made herself. And I don't think anyone has made anyone other than the people that have worked hard to get there.
I've known Prajakta since 2015. And she's probably been one of my closest friends in my own journey because we started at roughly the same time.
Right.
Okay. And there's like a lot of family energy there.
Okay.
I know her inside out and I have so much to say about her.
Yeah.
The primary adjectives, whatever, the primary words being discipline and integrity. These are her two key factors. And I think that's responsible for all
everything
the
that's happened. Yeah.
As a casting director, what did you see in Prajakta Kohli?
Firstly, not enough. I get a lot of this question asked of like, oh, influencer, content creator ko liya because they have big following and all.
There's also a lot of jealousy around her. And I'm gonna like say that openly. For like a lot of people are jealous that she got it. Especially those who want to transition to the acting world.
Yeah, sure. I know that.
Who want to be near the world of films. People have begun to really get jealous about her.
Yeah.
Her inner core is cheering for her. Go for it, girl. But
I don't think anything's going to stop that girl. Yeah. But I feel Prajakta is a very... I'm glad that you brought that up because she's a good example. When she came to us, she came in for an audition, and let me start with saying that she is where she is and she has got the opportunities that she's got because she's a phenomenal actor. We'll start with that. I think she did so much of that editing and shooting and all of that on her own at home behind closed doors that she self-learned. She just learned how to be an actor and she's bloody good at it. So when she came in for the test for, to be very honest, like even Akash and the directors, producers, they'd heard of her, naam suna hai. But in the film industry, people didn't quite know her as much. In the content world, she was huge. But not all of the people in the film world know all of the people in the content world.
Dude, tell me one thing, and this I'm asking you both as a professional and as just like a conversation, like as a friend.
Yeah.
One thing I've noticed, and this is something I noticed through conversation with women
Yeah.
is that when y'all are growing up in Indian society, one, y'all have to face this weird latent sexism.
Yeah.
Second, y'all have to face sort of the notion that your value is attached to your age. Is that true? Like, and even in your industry, like, I remember I met a star for something we were working on. And out of respect, when I switched to Hindi, like I have a Hindi brand as well.
Yeah.
So my automatic thing is, I say XYZG, just out of respect. That person got offended, dude. And I'm like, why? And she got like really offended. And that's why I realized age is a sensitive thing for a lot of people in your industry, especially with the girls.
Yeah.
I think even with the guys, but it's a lot more with the girls.
Yeah, tell me about it, because I always get this. It's really funny. You laugh. And I'm so over that, right? I'm putting it out there for actors also. I always get this. My age is 28, but my screen age is 22. I'm like, buddy, that time is gone. Just tell me how old you are.
Wow.
So this happens a lot of times. Yes, we do get a lot of that in casting. I've been trying to change that notion. Be proud of your age, man. Don't try to hide it. You will get opportunities. If you're 30 and you look 24, 25, I already know that. You don't have to tell me that.
That's what I love about Hollywood. Daniel Craig, Tom Hardy, Gerard Butler. All, I mean, I'm just naming the guys. I'm sure there are female. Shit, I'm adding to the narrative. But name some Hollywood people. Panchami. I'm sure. Meryl Streep. I don't know.
I don't think this age thing, it just needs to leave the building. It doesn't matter how old you are. And if you look younger, then a casting director or a producer or a director can already see that you have the tendency to look younger. Or you can be made into, if you're 30, you can look 25. You already know that. But no, you don't need to come in and say that you're 34, but your screen age is 22. That's completely nuts. I don't lie about my age. I don't need to, because so I think even for women, it's okay, women or men or whoever, even with men, to be honest, little bit you are right. I've seen this a little bit more with women than I have seen it with men. But as they grow older, especially as actors, they feel like nahi, young honge to younger parts milenge. But I think that's a misconception. That attitude should change, because you want to do good parts and you want to be able to do all of it. And actually, if you are 32 or 33, then why don't you want to test for a 32, 33-year-old? Because that's your actual age.
Yeah. And you might get a life-changing role, which is built exactly
which is what
for you.
I think people should overall focus on, is to do the parts that are good and not focus on typecasting. I understand. I think at some point what used to happen, like let's say for the actor's best friend, it was a very typecasted situation. Like people would always feel like, ओके मैं अगर हीरो का फ्रेंड करूंगा तो मुझे खाली फ्रेंड के ही रोल मिलेंगे.
And Vicky Kaushal broke that.
Vicky Kaushal has broken a lot of stereotypes and motions, because he was gutsy. He took on parts and he really killed it in those parts. So you stopped seeing him as any best friend. You just were like, he's an actor and he's really doing well at what he's doing.
You know how they say like it's easy to earn fame or money, but it's difficult to earn respect.
Yeah.
I feel Vicky Kaushal is one person who's done that, and I would say the same about you. Like I feel like you've earned a lot of respect, like in the, and this is me speaking to you purely.
I feel like isn't that what you want to be known for? I don't want to be known for only some big blockbuster films that I'm casting for. I want to be known for the kind of work atmosphere I'm setting up, the kind of notions I'm putting for the future generation to come. The things that I'm stating are important for the move forward. We're now what I call like in the new era of acting. It's a new world that we're building. We're going towards a more natural. We were talking about this outside.
The OTT.
Yeah, we're going towards a more natural form of acting. Scene work has become very, very. The way that we perform scenes is not today. Our rehearsals and our takes are not very different from each other. When we record in the studio, we do a bunch of rehearsals and then we do a few takes. But we don't want actors to suddenly become something else when the camera comes on. We want it to be as natural as possible. That's the kind of acting that we want to do.
Dude, low-key, does everyone want to get into films?
Yeah.
Everyone will say, oh, no, I'm okay with what I'm doing.
I think a large part of India wants to be at the movies. I've rarely come across someone who will be like, nahi, bilkul nahi karna hai. Of course, there are people that will say that. But most people will be like, try to kar lete hain types. Okay, we'll try. We'll give it a shot.
It's
and
okay
why
to admit
not?
that, dude.
Why not? And you never know, you'll be surprised sometimes. We've come across so much talent like that. But just like people who, after a long time in their life, have always kind of had it in their heart, but have done a corporate job. And then they feel like, nahi, actually, hamesha se tha thoda, try kar lete hain types.
And many of them just want the fame. And the
A
glam.
lot of them only want the fame and the glam. And I think that's where people like me come in, because like I was saying, sometimes I do have to give a reality check to people. No, this when you come into my office space, you are here because you want to be an actor. So don't get too looped in how you're looking, how your hair is, which profile is better. Forget about all that. Like, come in and do the scene, because then I know that you are focused on being a good actor.
Yeah.
So you're not like too looped into how your physical appearances. In fact, I don't think that's the least important. Once you come into the studio, वो सब घर से करके आओ, blow dry and makeup, and for the boys, like nice look and all. But once you come into the studio and we are putting the camera in front of you, forget about all of that. Just focus on doing the scene well. And I think in today's time, we see it with OTT. It's a huge shift. Only good actors are being noticed, are being appreciated. That time of abhi wo time is only gone, where like, you know, it's just a pretty face and don't know how to act. Is like people are now at the word go, I get told, agar अच्छे actors nahi hai to test ही नहीं करो. If they're not good actors, let's not test them.
And there is sort of a path from theatre to OTT into films.
Of course, OTT is completely translating into film. People are picking up actors from OTT to put them into the movies. So today, that mindset of don't want to do OTT, small screen, don't want to do OTT, it's completely going. You know, Shakun said something really, and that's kind of still stayed with me. He's like, I've never seen, because when Gehraiyaan was coming on OTT, and I asked him, I was like, we were having a conversation at our rap party, and I was like, you know, what do you feel about that? Is that something like a lot of directors would have been like, oh, this is such a big cast, we should do a theatrical release. Shakun was like, I never saw the OTT as a small screen, because I grew up watching my Woody Allen films on my laptop. So he was like, this was my world. So I don't see that as a bad thing. And I think that that's such a progressive thought. And coming from one of the most established directors that we have in Bollywood, to say something so progressive and do something so progressive, it's given such a big push to the younger generation of directors that we're going to have, or even to go with someone so new for music. And he's done a phenomenal and Kabir, which has done such a phenomenal job with the music. Not like Shakun didn't have he had the reach to go to anyone. But, you know, he chose to be collaborative, give someone new a chance. He took that chance even upon me, because he met me and he had never worked with me before when we had worked on Kapoor Sons. But he took that gamble. He was like, okay, cool. Yeah, you're some new energy. You'll sort my cast out, right? I'm like, I'll sort it out.
And it resulted in an iconic film.
Yeah. I mean, we all love Kapoor Sons and Gehraiyaan. Mansik, I have a question to ask you. I'm allowed to do that, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
That's the point.
Okay, great. So basically, I am new to this world that is very, very familiar to you, which is this YouTube content creator world. Because when you do say influencers and you say OTT, I only think like Amazon, Netflix, like all the OTT platforms. And I think influencers for me is like fashion influencers and influencers on Instagram. But there's a whole world out there on YouTube, right? What is that world like? Like, how much has it evolved and where is it going?
Anyone who crosses 100k YouTube subscribers, or I'd say 500k Instagram followers, is smart, dedicated, and has a vision. That's how they've been able to scale that much. So that's the basis, and I'm trying to quantify the basis. It is easy to get up to those marks or under those marks based on a little bit of luck. Like, you make one reel that takes off, one random. But if you can get to those points,
right,
I think that's the qualification for me in terms of I'll look at that person as a serious media professional. My second gauge is, are they spread across platforms? You can't just be on one platform. And we see even hyper established people on just one platform. But the real strength of a brand happens across, according to me. As I said, I think it's a stepping stone to do other shit in life. In terms
but
of
YouTube, people are watching, huh? Like it's crazy the amount of content people, and if people have channels and all, people are following specific channels like religiously. Like, you'll put a video up and people will want to watch it like then and there.
Okay, let me ask you this. Why in its core, what's the logic for a human being to go watch a film?
It's entertainment. It's feel good.
What is the need for entertainment for the human being?
I guess to let off stress.
To some sort of escapism?
Yeah, escapism, of course.
When it comes to YouTube, fiction serves the same purpose. So comedy, entertainment, it's in the same domain as your work.
Yeah, correct.
But there's this whole other non-fiction side of YouTube, where people don't use it to escape. People use it to go deeper into their lives. So
Interesting.
it creates a very different kind of fandom. So the numbers are way lesser, but the numbers are much more powerful. You have CEOs, founders of startups, people like yourself, thought leaders.
No, of course I understand, because when I think about, like, eventually if I want to take workshops and stuff, I go and see other interviews, or I see interviews of other casting directors. So I see, because if I'm in a particular department and that content is informative to me and it helps me reach somewhere without leaving the confines of my home, that's excellent. You were saying something very interesting about this whole world hating about Bollywood. That's kind of like, why is that come together?
I think it's a lot of
Or like looking down, are you saying the Gen Z is not going to be interested in Bollywood? Or is
there's something
not?
called Gen Alpha, which is younger than Gen Z.
Okay, Gen Alpha, that's new.
That's after 2005 or 2007.
And you're saying they are like, they're not interested?
They are just into YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which means YouTube will get bigger.
Yeah. Which might be a rebuttal to your hypothesis.
Yeah.
And I am not, shooting down your hypothesis
No,
at all.
of course.
I think you're a media professional with your own
No,
opinion.
but again, when like I said, that when you say influencers, I think a lot more Instagram and less YouTube.
Because our generation
Yeah.
saw that. 2010, 2009. We saw fashion influencers.
Yeah, correct.
Doing photos on Instagram.
That I feel like is a bubble and might burst.
That's gone.
Yeah.
I run like a time management. That's gone. Like no money is channelized towards people who just do photos now. Like the money is only towards video people. And I'll tell you a sort of conundrum lafda here.
Okay, tell me.
Which is that, so we're content creators, and imagine getting numbers as like walking up a mountain. Okay, so we're walking,
Yeah.
and each piece of content is one step you're taking in the upward direction.
Yeah.
And then you see that some piece of fiction has come out on OTT or in theaters, and someone has gone from getting 1,000 likes on their post to 1,000,000 likes in 1 week. And you're like, okay, I'm climbing the mountain here, and someone's got a lift to the top.
Oh shit.
Which made me understand the power of fiction, which made me kind of change my opinions from being like, oh no, I just do non-fiction and we're better and we're cooler, to oh, this is the true power of fiction.
This is the true power of fiction.
So,
okay, that's interesting.
And there's evolutionary psychology behind this, because we need roti, kapda, makan as human beings, and we need storytelling.
Yeah, storytelling.
So that's
very interesting. Yeah, totally different world than mine. I feel like now I'm suddenly feeling like I'm living under a rock.
No, but do you have more questions about this?
No, it's interesting definitely to know, because it's such a different world from the world that I am in. Also, what you do in your kind of content and my content is so different. My content is like auditions, and it's almost like a two-way emotional experience with an actor. You know, also there's so much trust involved in, you know, when we take auditions and I have to tell an actor the truth about what they've done and how they have to change that. It's a completely different content world than what you guys do, you know, at YouTube. But what I'm trying to think is that how can the two worlds come together is something that's on my mind. But that's possible.
when the business side of things becomes rich enough to produce movies.
Yeah.
Or when Panchami Ghavri decides to cast all the entertainment YouTubers in films.
I think I'm already in the process of doing that.
They are very hungry for it. Honestly, the whole entertainment space on YouTube is very...
But yeah, that's amazing. And also, if you have like a bunch of people under in your... You said that you have a sister company that has talent under it.
For
Time
me,
to make that connect.
No, for me, great. But I'm also speaking on behalf of the whole ecosystem.
Yeah. But to be honest, somehow it's sad that connect has not happened, because we're constantly looking for talent, and we don't care where people have come from. I don't care if they're from another city, from another country, as far as they can speak the language and they're enthusiastic and they're interested in acting.
The narrative and the assumption is that a lot of content creators don't look as good as a conventional movie star.
But we don't care about that anymore. We don't care about that. That's a misconception. We're not only chasing looks when it comes to, especially OTT has got that change. That has happened. It's very real. We are not chasing only good looks.
Or six-pack abs and all that.
Or six-pack abs, or like your martial arts and all, whatever you're trained in. But I also think, because I want actors to know this, the world of portfolio pictures has officially left the building. We don't care. I mean, I don't care. And I'm just saying it out on behalf of other casting directors. I don't know if everyone will agree with me. For me, in my space, I don't care if you've gone to a big photographer and spent 1 lakh rupees or 70,000 or 80,000 to get your portfolio pictures done. It doesn't matter to me. I need a bunch of nice pictures, natural, most likely in a white t-shirt and blue jeans against a white wall, natural, smiling, happy pictures. That's all we are looking for. We don't want some big bikini look and Indian look and, six-pack, the shirtless look for boys. I was like, we don't need all of that. We don't need it, I swear.
Sometimes you hear a phrase and then you have to just blurt out a line of a song. I just want to scream, bikini shoot.
Bikini shoot. Yeah, we're not looking for a bikini shoot. We don't want that. But it's sad because especially tier 2, tier 3, when these guys come down, they feel like that's one of the things they have to do immediately. Oh, scene mein jana hai, acting karna hai, casting auditions ke liye jana hai, portfolio pictures. I'm like that, but that used to be there. I don't think that's there anymore. In today's time, we don't really care about it. It's not like a checklist thing you have to do.
I have to ask you this one question that I've had in my head for a very long time.
Is it going to be controversial?
No. This isn't one of those shows. This is just, dude, honestly, this process of podcasting is just my own question, which I have for people. Why do you fold your arms like when we talk? Is it just like a
No,
a
I
habit?
actually do that even when I'm standing.
Okay.
I don't know.
I ask you from the perspective that I've started doing it. And not after this conversation in life.
Yeah, I do this all the time. I just feel comfortable.
And I used to make, I have made body language based content where this is like kind of supposed to be sort of a red flag when your listeners doing that to you.
Oh.
Yeah. So
what do you mean? Say that again.
So if I am saying something and you fold your arms, it usually like 70 to 80% of the time, those are very raw numbers which I've just thrown in. But anyway, it means that I've said something that has kind of made you feel a little bit guarded.
Oh.
Like maybe something accusational or some assumption about you which you don't agree with.
Okay.
But I've also come to realize that it could be
It also could be like a habit.
Habit that helps you think better.
Okay.
Because I've started doing it with my team when I have to. So say now, because I have like 4 different things I do.
Right.
Okay. And if one team is asking me something very difficult, I have to switch off the 3 other things and just let that one.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Multitasking.
Yeah. One engine thing, and this helps me switch on one engine and switch off the other 3.
Okay. I'm gonna be more mindful to see when I do it.
Or read people around you and try understanding what's happening in their heads. Yeah, and it works. Okay. Dude, body language is one of those things that's changed my life. You know what it does? Like if you get deep into body language and there's like 10 or 20 like these kind of core rules of body language. Okay, but if you learn them, it's little shit like you can spot when people lie. You can kind of start reading what people are thinking. For example,
that's damn interesting. Yeah. I learned a little bit about body language when I was doing this Lee Strasberg course, because there are a lot of things in a scene that you start doing because you're trying to keep connected with yourself. But you're trying to be Panchami, but actually you have to be the Aditi that's in the scene. So you'll start doing like things on the side, like people do like I've seen this even with actors, and I've learned they do a lot of like rubbing their fingers. They'll do like tapping their feet
to cope.
To stay. You kind of want to stay connected with the real world and not completely given to a scene. But we obviously catch those things, and we try to tell actors that you are trying to hold off. You're being guarded. So try to let go, because the thing is that in a scene, I keep seeing a little bit of your actual personality come in. So you're not completely surrendering to the character that you've been asked to play. But that happens in challenging scenes sometimes. It can happen all the time. People do a lot more things, like they touch sometimes, like they'll do like a pulling of their skin, like so weird. Yeah, it's like a twitch.
You're very good at conversation. Okay, I've spoken to enough people to know who's good, who's not, and also podcasting gives you this ability to really go inside a person's mind. Have you been able to tell that? Like, have I gone inside your mind?
Yeah, I mean, we've had conversations far more than just casting, right? Yeah, and I've got to learn something from you today, which I like. Which makes me very happy.
This content creation
just content world. Yeah, what's next and what's what the world is moving towards. To be honest, sometimes you're in such a cocoon, we don't even know what's happening outside.
Don't you think people with good people skills become good actors?
Yes. Yes, it is true. Good people with good people skills will become good actors. Yes, they will be good actors because they are able to put their life out there. They don't have any qualms about talking about their failures and their successes. And I think that for an actor, I mean, like they say, as an actor, if you if you're able to bring a little bit of your bad times or your tough times into a scene, that helps. That's what you call method acting, right? That's what we've been learning for so long. So it does help to be a little bit more open. I wouldn't say all actors I meet are extroverts. There are some introverts too, but those transform on camera sometimes. But I do think people skills are important, because it is sometimes about being at the right place at the right time. And then your communication skills are really important in life. So, but there are some people there are two kinds of people. One that are just there instantly, and one that take time to warm up. And I think that's fair. Yeah, there are all kinds of personalities, but I feel like for sure people's skills are very important for actors, because even when they come into a casting room, how well are they able to strike it with the assistants that are taking the test? How that equation is also important, right? So then you'll have the room to be like, acha, theek hai, I've done it the way that, but I had prepared it a certain way. Can I do it my way? So if you're able to convey that, and sometimes we very well go with the final take will end up being the one that the actor did the way that they wanted, because that's what they did most honestly. So we don't have anything too set in stone. So having good communication skill will always help you, maybe even do a better test.
Wow, so we've reached the end of this episode.
Yeah.
And I have like too much conversational chemistry, I feel, with you.
But this is easy conversation. I mean, we're literally sitting here and getting to know each other.
That was it. That's the podcast.
Okay, Veda.
How do you feel
It's
now?
done. I feel great.
Are you gonna go back to hustling and conquering the world of films?
I am. I love all these conversations because they make me feel inspired.
Why do I like these lady wale podcasts much more, dude? Like, it's so much more fun. Why do you think that?
Men are not making any jokes?
Dude, with men, it becomes fucking intense. It's like all analytical and life and shit.
You also must be getting into it.
Yeah. Because I bounce off the other person's energy.
Yeah.
So the moment I realize you're a happy Punjabi, chill person, I was like, okay, that's what we can do today.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember the last funny male podcast because it becomes dirty. Like,
it becomes dirty,
the funny translates into dirty and then doesn't make it to the final cut.
Yeah, I can imagine. No, this was great fun. I didn't even realize what kitna time ho gaya. It's been like 2 hours. High five, man.
Even you can do comedy. you have that.
I love comedy.
Even you have timing and you're folding your arms again. But cool.
Now you made me notice it too, man. Now I'm going to go to people and be like, I know what you're feeling. But I am telling you, honestly, this is like just a completely, again, personal thought. I keep telling Vish that I think he's with me because I'm entertaining. Like I'm like, I know what you're doing. You just want to be entertained.
I see it.
That's why you're with me, because I do make jokes all the time, and I'm like a very I'm also a very clumsy person, so I keep tripping and like all of those things happen to me. They're very fucking real. And now it's like I only get laughs. Like if I topple and I fall down, which just happened to me in Amsterdam, or like I'll miss a step because it's a cobblestone road, Vish will just be laughing. I'm like, at least help me, man. Help me out. Don't just laugh.
I relate to that. I've dated someone like that once who used to get into shit, and there is a entertainment factor you feel. As long as it's not too physically painful. You know what they're going through. If it's like kind of physically painful, it's entertaining.
I think if I was dying, then I'd get help.
Yeah. Then the guy's inner like knight in shining armor wakes up, because guys always want to massage their own ego. PG, I'm not gonna ask you for a role. What I will ask you for is set me up with someone. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, you said you're very single. You're single.
I'm fucking single.
You're very single. Okay, fine.
But
I'm going to keep this in mind. Maybe I can cast you a girl.
Cast me a girl?
Yeah, it's meant to be funny.
Oh,
You
shit.
should see, because I'm into casting and I cast movies, I can cast someone in your life, is what I mean.
No, I find you funny. But
I don't think I'm like, I mean, I really don't know. I should interview another casting director to see. I don't know what others are like in whatever I'm doing. I don't know if people have a different like vibe approach. Have you ever done any other chat?
No.
I'm a first casting director.
Yeah, you know why?
Why?
Dude, and you've been on my list for a very long time.
Yeah, tell me, how did you even think of?
It's going to become serious now.
Say na, it's fine.
We're going to break away from all this falling and tripping humor.
Okay.
I've only heard very respectful things about you.
Okay.
Yeah. When people talk about you, there's a lot of respect that people
I'm
attach
happy.
to your name. And I've noticed that in the media industry, the dark horses and the ones that stay around or build things in the long term always have a sense of respect attached to their name. There's never anything sleazy I've ever heard about you, never anything bad, negative. And after talking to you, I understand why. I understand, like, the person you are.
Yeah. I'm
But
happy to hear that,
yeah.
man. I
So
mean, that makes me happy. For
there
sure.
was a thoda long-term admiration. And a lot of times I decide, okay, this person should be on the show. And then I just forget until a certain moment, like someone's name drops in my head. So the universe conspired to make this happen.
That's
PG.
amazing.
And that's why I texted you yesterday and we're doing this today.
Yeah, can you imagine? It just happened so organically and fast.
It shows...
but I am very I'm very spontaneous.
Yeah. And you need that in our industry.
Yeah.
You need to be able to just go for things and all that. So,
and I think that honestly, when you say that, that's really sweet that that's what you've heard. But really, I've just tried to have a strong morals about how I want to lead my life and my company and be at my work. And I've had a lot of fun in the process. You should see us in our office. So I don't have any of this weird hierarchy thing. We all eat together. We don't have any it's not like my team can't sit on my chair. I don't have all those weird things that a lot of, maybe there is this hierarchy thing that maybe there are in many jobs, not only in casting. And we don't have that. It's just like a very equal atmosphere. Everyone gets to give their opinion. When I'm confused about a test, I'll ask my team what they feel. So it's truly collaborative. And maybe that the respect comes out of a little bit of freedom. I don't also sit on my team's head to be like Monday to Saturday office aana hai. I'm like, kaam hai to aao, nahi aana hai mat aao.
Like, ladies like you are the reason they say that the world is becoming more matriarchal.
Which is amazing. Okay.
Like, there is, I do feel men have their own unique strengths.
Of course, and we're not trying to actually step over one to the other, right? But we are trying to make the space equal for all. And I think that's important.
They say if there was only women in positions of power all over the world, politically, there would be no more wars.
Isn't that amazing? That's such a nice thought.
And I strongly agree with it. There will be people who disagree, but that's something
because you think that women are slightly more sensitive?
Yeah,
is that
empathetic. Like, that's a strength of being a woman, inherent strength.
Yeah.
And many guys don't develop empathy ever. So, and it is difficult for a guy to develop empathy because the narrative you're given as a kid is fucking stay macho, stay aggressive.
I understand that. I understand that, and I try to break a lot of that when we are casting or when we are in the studio, to be like, listen, you don't have to have all of these. Like, I was like, when people get married in my team or looking to get married, I'm like, don't fucking be that asshole. That's like, you want a wife who's gonna. I was like, we got to push this envelope further, right? I want to educate my team, people that I work with, to be like, be equal. You're working with women in the office, so you don't want to have a different. Ye India mein bahut hota hai, a different type of thing for your wife and your partner, and a different kind of situation for your work. We have to equalize that, which is really important. But yeah, I'm happy to hear that you've heard good things about me. I've heard amazing things about you too.
What have you heard about me till this point?
I know that, actually, to be very honest, my team was going nuts that we are doing this interview today. They were like, wow, that is so cool and all. I was like, he's amazing and all that, does all these amazing podcasts. But like I said, this is the new world to me, and thank you for introducing me to the world. And I think that there's a lot here to explore. And now I know that, and good, you've also told me another thing is that the world of content creators do want or are interested to come into the other side. To be honest, sometimes it feels like they were so content with their content that they are not interested. They're making enough money. They look happy. But if they are truly interested, then I'm a great bridge between that. And I'm looking for that. And this looks thing that you were talking to me about, it's actually not that important. Not in today's time. We've moved forward. And we are not keeping that as the only prerequisite. Of course, in certain situations it matters, but not in all.
No, I'm glad we could help you. And,
yay to that.
I bow down to the divine feminine inside you now, PG. Thank you.
Most welcome. I'm so glad we did this. It was great fun.
That was the episode for today. Sometimes I host some people on the show where I get to know them over the course of the episode. And then I get to almost fanboy over them because I just love the person that I'm getting to know. Panchami Ghavri was one of those people where I just felt like being friends with this person even post the episode. Just felt a very deep connect. I'm sure you all could sense it through the conversation. But I can guarantee you that she will be back on the show. I want to know who else you'd like to see on this podcast. Of course, we're bringing people from the world of Bollywood, but also keep in mind, we've got episodes related to spirituality, the military, geopolitics, science, all sorts of domains. I want to know from you guys how we can take the podcast to the next level. Tell me, guys, keep supporting, keep sharing, and keep building with us. TRS will be back soon.